Indonesia's growth is slowing down. How is the IMF helping Indonesia's economy?
We do expect growth to moderate this year and next, but still remain reasonably strong compared to the region and other large emerging market economies. How can the IMF help? Well, through our policy dialogue with the Indonesian authorities, we discuss means by which they can continue to ensure a stable macroeconomic environment, reduce vulnerabilities and manage risk, but also undertake the needed reforms to support investment and job creation, all in the interest of more inclusive growth.
Why does Indonesia have such a big inflation?
Inflation has risen recently, but mainly due to the increase in subsidized fuel prices in June. This was a difficult decision for the government, but an important one, because it helps reduce pressure on Indonesia's trade balance and also continue to ensure sound fiscal performance. By raising subsidized fuel prices, the government is also hoping to open up space so that they can undertake key social and infrastructure spending in support of growth. There are other factors that have led to higher inflation, but in our view, recent monetary policy tightening should help ease those pressures going into 2014 and bring the inflation rate back around to Bank Indonesia's target band sometime next year.
Why does Indonesia have such a high deficit?
Let's focus on the current account balance, which has indeed been in deficit since late 2011. Prior to that, Indonesia had more than a decade of current account surpluses. I think the main factor is oil imports. Indonesia now consumes more than it produces, so it's become a net oil importer. In part, this is due to strong economic growth, which has driven up energy demand. A second factor are the prices that Indonesia receives for some of its key exports. A number of those exports are concentrated in commodities, and over the past few years, we've seen a decline in some of these commodity prices. This includes for palm oil, rubber, coal, as well as for certain precious minerals and ores. In part, this is due to the slowdown we've seen in emerging market economies, but also the fact that global supply is increasing in a number of these commodities.
Why is there such a big gap between rich and poor?
We recognize there's a gap, but let's focus on what can be done to close it. First, we would urge greater financial inclusiveness. That is, giving households and firms, in particular small and medium-scale enterprises, greater access to the large pool of savings in Indonesia. Second, the government needs to spend more on education, health, and infrastructure in order to raise productivity and lift incomes. And third, we would urge greater labor market flexibility, which will help firms manage their cost and enable them to create jobs more effectively.